Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is my review for The Americans, Season 3, Episode 3, Open House. And wow, this episode was amazing. I mean, every episode is just getting better and better and better. And this was by far the best episode of the season. There were some scenes in here that were honestly very hard to watch. There's some things in here that were just really, really well done. I loved everything about this episode. And let's just get into it because this episode was pretty big. There were a lot of big things in this episode, but let's just get into it. And I like this starting to not be as much as just we need to recruit Paige, as in we need to recruit other people, because we find in this episode there are other people that they need to recruit besides Paige. So we start off with Philip getting a new assignment from Gabriel, and Gabriel gives him some names. These names are Max Sampson, Isaac Browlett, and Ted Pascal. And these are all people working for the organization. And Isaac is a saint on paper, but his wife passed away and he raises money for cancer. So Ted Pascal is probably their best bet because he's desperate for money, and the handler warns him though that the CIA is going to be watching everyone on that list like a hawk, and they're going to have to be extra careful getting close to any of them, because of course we know the CIA is already after they're already after them for the most part. They're after the center because of course Gadd was attacked by Elizabeth and they don't know that, and they're trying to figure out who it was. So Elizabeth's out walking the streets with a new spy named Hans, and she is training him for the center, and she's quizzing him on surveillance. And you can see that this guy has a bit of an attraction towards her. Definitely, he has a bit of an attraction towards her, and she's laughing at him, and her tooth still hurts from her run-in with the FBI agents. But she can't go to the dentist because it will send out red flags, and she could be caught because of that. So the spy is flirting with Elizabeth, telling her that she always looks good, and I like this guy overall. I thought they had a nice, fun relationship there. I mean, they're just, he's just working with her, but I like that he's flirting with her. I think he's a nice guy overall, and basically, not too much to say there, but at home that night, Elizabeth tries to talk to Philip about getting Paige a birthday present, and she saw a necklace that she thinks will be good for her 16th birthday. Philip doesn't care what they get her, and Elizabeth changes the subject and tries to talk about Hans flirting with her. And one of the things I love about the scene is that Elizabeth is in like a towel in this scene. She just took a shower. What would have normally happened is Philip would have gone completely over Elizabeth and these two would have had crazy sex. That's what would have happened. But since their relationship is at such a breaking point where like they're just not in a very good stage right now, their relationship is very restrained, and I like seeing that because, you know, I can give you guys an example. Last season, season 2, episode 6, they were all over each other in that episode. If you remember, they were complaining because their sex life wasn't as wild as it used to be. And now they really don't have one because their relationship is starting to deteriorate and they don't really care as much about that, which is kind of sad, honestly. It really is. You feel bad for them. So basically, Elizabeth changed the subject and tries to talk about Hans flirting with her. She said that she shot him down. Philip doesn't seem to care about any of this. Philip's just like, okay. He's looking at a magazine like he just doesn't care. And he says that it's her job to recruit men. She shouldn't be shutting down his advances. He snaps her that he knows she met with Gabriel about recruiting Paige behind his back, and he's furious at her. That's why he's shutting her out. And that was huge when we found that out because they weren't really bringing that up, and I'm just like, why aren't we bringing it up? And it turns out that she actually talked with Gabriel about recruiting Paige because Elizabeth, I do like Elizabeth. As I said before, what Elizabeth is saying is what needs to happen. Philip, I understand he doesn't want to let his daughter go, but Elizabeth, she is more, she thinks that Paige is good for the job. And honestly, yeah, I think Paige would be good for the job. I mean, she's smart, she's not dumb, she's not gonna get herself hurt easily. I think Paige would be good, but do I want her to, end up working for the center? No, I don't, because I think some bad's gonna happen to Paige because of how young she is and things like that, and she doesn't know, and plus she get all this information, who knows how she handle and everything, because I mean, remember, they have to tell her what's really going on here, and she would probably feel betrayed if they told her. So I don't know how she really would feel if they told her what's going on, but at the same time, they have to do this. It's their choice. They have no choice. They have to do this. There's a scene where basically Gabriel's telling Philip that Paige will have a choice, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. I don't feel that Paige would have a choice. I really don't. So that's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. That was definitely a very interesting scene. So at work, Stan's coworkers are still checking dentist offices looking for the woman they had a run-in with. Of course, they're looking for Elizabeth, and they don't realize it. So, they want to get their revenge there. Not too much with that. Now I can't think of her name now. Let's not. Zanadia. No, we didn't see Zanadia in this episode. Nothing really with her, no real major development with her, but I was fine with that because we didn't really need to see too much of Zanadia, so I was pretty much fine with that. So Elizabeth and Philip, they head on cover to meet with a real estate agent and look at a house. That's why this episode is called Open House, and I like their disguises. They're back to those, like, nerdy disguises, like the one that Elizabeth had when she talked to Jared about what really happened to his parents. Um, that's the disguise they had. So Philip comes up with an excuse to go back upstairs and begins rifling through the home outside office, and he plants a bug in the telephone and in the briefcase, and there's Ted Pascal, and of course it's his house that they're looking at, and he says I love the Philip just like, I'm sorry, I forgot something, and basically he heads upstairs, finds Philip in his office, and Philip lies and says he's just looking to see what the heating duct looks like, and he seems like he's interested. There was a part of me that's like, maybe they will actually take this house. Because I don't know, I was just thinking that. It just seemed like something that maybe they'd be interested in. Because, I mean, there have been many times when they've done things on the side. Maybe they take the house because, what could have happening is that since the CIA is looking for them, if they move, it might actually be an advantage for them. Because the CIA might find out who they are easier if they have, like, if they find their location. Which, back then, it's hard to do. Because they didn't have the advanced technology we did yet. They didn't have that. But still, I mean, they still need to be careful, definitely, of what could happen to them. So I thought that was a very interesting scene. I was very interested in what was going to happen there. So Arcady's back in this episode, and he's revealing to Oleg. By the way, no Nina in this episode. We didn't see any of Nina's plot, which I was fine with because I think we got enough of that last week. So I was fine that we didn't have Nina in this episode. And honestly, I mean, Oleg and Arcady's plot is just so much less about Nina that I really feel like we're not going to see Nina as much. So Arcady reveals to Oleg that his father pulled some strings and sent him paperwork to pull him out of the U.S. And Arcady's telling Oleg that it is up to him if he wants to be transferred. And Oleg reminds him that his father is close to Anthropov, and Arcady tells him to let him know what he decides. So basically, they need to figure out what they really want to do there, and that's very interesting to see if they want to get out of the U.S. If they get out of the U.S., again, it could be an advantage for them but at the same time, if they get out of the U.S., it could end up being terrible for them, definitely, because who knows what it's like outside the U.S. So it was definitely very interesting. So Philip and Elizabeth are driving around, listening to. I forgot to talk about one scene that I want to talk about. Philip talks to Paige in this episode. This was a very interesting scene. Philip's talking to Paige about how he doesn't want her to, about how how he knows she has to grow up and everything. And she is just like, I know you tell me this every year. Why you keep telling me this? And it just shows how concerned Philip is about Paige. And Paige even says, "Why are you guys so concerned about me?" And there's just a moment where you're like, is he gonna tell her? And of course he doesn't tell her, because why would he tell her now? This is not the time to tell her. And just it's a very well done scene, because they don't want to tell her. He especially does not want to tell her, but they have to. And it's a very hard scene to watch, and I think it's very well done. Not the hardest scene to watch. We'll get to that, but yeah. So that happens. So basically, Philip and Elizabeth are driving around listening to the bug that they planted on Ted's briefcase, and Elizabeth realizes that they are being tailed by a car. They think that it's the CIA. Philip tells her to take another turn to see if the car continues to follow them. They drive around for hours being tailed, and Elizabeth drives through a parking lot in the dark. Philip jumps out of the car while it's moving without the car even behind them even noticing, and Philip gives her an address to go to and says he will see her at home. So that's how that worked out. So Paige is at home gathering the laundry, and this was really weird, I have to say. I like this. I don't know what the hell is going on here, but this was weird. Um, Basically, she finds a naked picture of Sandra, Stan's wife, in Henry's room. Now, why would Henry be interested in this? I have to say two things about Henry. One, that kid's voice is changing. His voice is getting deeper. You can definitely tell in this episode. Just want to say that. But also, why the hell would he be interested in this shit? Because he claims it's not his, yet he's screaming about it, and he's screaming that Paige is disgusting. But the second that she turns away, he seems interested. But he claims it's not his. If it's not his, who the hell is it? Because I want to know what that's really all about. I have no idea what's going on with that kid, but that was extremely weird. I just have to say. That was extremely weird, and I have no idea what that's trying to show. But, yeah, that was really weird. So Philip rushes to a payphone, calls an operator, gives them the same address they gave to Elizabeth, and a man walks past Elizabeth's window while she's driving slowly and tosses a walkie-talkie inside. She turns it on, a man starts giving her directions, telling her to turn right down to another street, and you don't know what's going to happen to Elizabeth in the scene because you know that the CIA is going after Elizabeth. So Philip heads home, finds Paige sitting in the living room watching TV. She says she couldn't sleep, and Philip sits down with her, tries to talk to her. And Philip reassures her that she doesn't mind her parents working so late. And she's gotten used to it. I mean, if you remember, she was worried, why are they working so late? But she's gotten used to it. And I think it's a well done scene, definitely, because she really has gotten used to them working so late. Last season, she was so suspicious about them. I think that it's the norm for her. It really is. For her, it really is the norm because of the fact that they do this all the time. They work late, and she had the suspicion of Philip last week, but now she knows that. She knows everything's okay. She doesn't really suspect anything, which I like about Paige. I like that definitely about her. So I thought that was a very well done scene. So at Stan's office, they are radioing the agents that are tailing Elizabeth, and Stan wants to make a move on her, bring her in, but the CIA told them to wait and see where Elizabeth leads them. And just the thing about Stan that I hate is that you feel bad for Stan because again, Stan doesn't realize that the person that he's searching for is his neighbor. He has no idea. He's so tight with Philip and Elizabeth that you have no idea how he's gonna react. Because I definitely feel like this is gonna be the season where he finds out that Elizabeth is the person they're looking for. Because think about it, he's not stupid. Okay, Stan is very smart. He's very smart, and honestly, I feel like if he found out Philip and Elizabeth were the people they've been searching for, yeah, he'd be betrayed, but it'd also be like Nina. Because think about it, Nina was a KGB, and he fell in love with her, and he cared about her. And same with Zanadia. So is he going to try to recruit them? I definitely feel like that could happen. And it just, every time we see this happening, I keep thinking, what is Stan's reaction to me? Some people have said that they feel like Stan's gonna become a KGB agent, and that could definitely happen. It could definitely happen. I could definitely see that happening to Stan. He is getting so much closer with them. He's realizing how much of less of a threat they are that I definitely feel like some point Stan's gonna become a KGB agent. I don't know why, but I just feel like he is. So the woman that Elizabeth called for help kicks her plan into motion. They interfere with the FBI's agents' radio frequencies, turn off the traffic lights. Such an intense scene. You have no idea what's going to happen to Elizabeth. I thought Elizabeth was going to get seriously hurt here because we saw in the promo that there was like this huge like car crash, and I was like, God forbid Elizabeth is in that. Like I thought there was going to be like the cliffhanger of this episode that Elizabeth's killed. But this show is smarter than that. This show is smarter than just a dumb cliffhanger. First of all, the show never ends on a cliffhanger. The Americans never really ends on a cliffhanger, like ever, like barely ever does it. The only time I feel like it does is I mean every episode sort of ends like with a cliffhanger, but each one ends with some sort of a conversation. So this show is smarter than that. So luckily Elizabeth gets away undetected, and that was pretty crazy. And then we get to the hardest scene to watch of maybe this season. This was the hardest scene to watch this season. Like literally, I could not watch this. I could watch it, but it's so hard to watch. I thought that breaking the bones of Annalise was hard to watch last week. This was the hardest scene to watch this season. So hard to watch. And it's so hard to watch because how real it feels. Elizabeth arrives at home. Philip's trying to kiss her, but she's wincing in pain because of her tooth, and this makes him realize these teeth have to come out. They have to come out, and she's not going to the dentist. He has to take them out. So again, she can't get any dental care, so he has to do this himself. He takes her into the basement, gives her a shot of alcohol, proceeds to pull her tooth out with pliers. She's wincing in pain, and just he pulls out like several teeth of them, and she's every time she's moaning and groaning, and you see the look on Philip's face. He doesn't want to have to do this, but he has to. There's no choice. He has to pull out these teeth, and he doesn't even want to. And you don't want them. You don't want him to do this, but you know he has to. And it's not that it's not that he wants to, it's just that he has to. And you feel so bad for Philip and Elizabeth in the scene, but the scene was just so well constructed, and I loved about the scene. Such a well done scene, definitely. So back at the FBI office, Stan is retracting the routes that Elizabeth took. He tells his coworker that they are sure are hard to get, and basically, yeah, she got away again. So they still don't suspect that it's Elizabeth. They have no idea who it is, and I thought that was very interesting that they still don't know who it is. So at Martha's house, I didn't talk about this in the first episode, but Martha wants to have kids with Clark, Philip, and she wants to have kids with him, but he did not want to conceive a child, obviously, because of, interfering with him and Elizabeth's lives. So she's pressuring Philip about taking in foster kids, and he says that he told her over and over that he doesn't want children, and Martha thinks that taking a child on a trial basis could help him change his mind. They have so much to offer needy children. Now, here's my thing with this. You know why Clark does not want to take in. You know why we know why Philip doesn't want taken children because of the fact that it would interfere with his life. But if it was foster children, and they were, I feel like here's what Philip can do. If they're old enough, like say maybe teenagers or something like that, maybe it could be a good idea because you don't have to take care of them as much. But if it's little babies, then definitely have to take care more of them. So if they come up with a compromise, definitely I feel like this could work. I'm still amazed that Martha still doesn't realize that Clark and Philip are the same person. I'm still amazed by it, definitely. Very amazed, and I can't believe that she still hasn't figured that out. So Elizabeth heads to the park to train Hans some more, and Philip heads to Gabriel's to fill him in on what happened while they were trying to watch Ted Pascal. And Gabriel thinks that they should back off. Getting Ted isn't worth getting caught because he almost got caught because of that. He was like this close. So they wind up arguing over Paige being recruited, and basically Philip reminds Gabriel that Paige grew up in the U.S. and she's 14. He gives him all those reasons he gave him in the first episode, how she's 14 years old and she's not ready for this. He even says she's not equipped to deal with this shit, and how she's just too young and she's not ready for this. She was born in the U.S. She's not Russian, which is true. I mean, I had this theory in season 2 that Paige was going to find out what Philip and Elizabeth were and then turn against them. That could still be a possibility. What could happen is a Paige could realize what's going on and actually turn against them. Because I feel like Paige would not agree with what they were doing. I really do. Think of how many times Paige has been against them. She hasn't followed their religion, which they don't like. She's been against their religion. She's been against them with many things. So I definitely feel like this would be no different. That Paige would definitely be against them with this. I don't feel like she'd support them. I feel like she wouldn't want anything to do with them after that. And that's personally how I feel with Paige. That's what I feel she would react to this. But I don't know. Maybe you guys will think differently, but that's personally how I feel. So we still have that whole conflict going on. So later that night, Philip and Elizabeth head back out to spy on Ted Pascal, and Philip warns her to not to get too close. They drive by to get pictures and realize that the girl in Ted's car is the daughter of Isaac Brelit, the head of the Afghan committee, and basically their plan is they're going to recruit her instead of Paige to cover up for Paige, and that's their plan. And that's the end of the episode. Overall, guys, great episode. Absolutely loved it. But there are a lot of things to talk about. First of all, let's talk about Paige. How do I feel this plan is going to work? Well, we saw in the promo that it ends up backfiring them. She ends up playing them and ends up not going well at all. Apparently Zanotti is going to get involved with all this, which I don't know how that's going to happen, but Zanotti wasn't even in this episode. So Zanotti somehow is going to get involved with all this, which is not going to end well for anyone, and just that's gonna be interesting to see. Now, I really want to talk about Paige. Definitely, I definitely feel like Paige. Definitely, they need to recruit Paige. They have to. They can't just say we can't recruit Paige because the center's gonna. Philip said to them that if they recruit Paige, then him and his wife are finished. He did say that if they harm Paige, so there is that. I understand that. But the more they recruit Paige, it's just, first of all, it's destroying Philip and Elizabeth's relationship. Every single episode, their relationship is deteriorating more and more. This episode, they didn't even feel like a couple. They didn't. That scene where he's pulling her teeth out, it just seemed like something he had to do. They did not seem like a couple. They kissed once, and it doesn't even seem like they're much of a couple anymore. It really doesn't. It definitely seems like their relationship is starting to deteriorate. I read an article on the AV Club, and they said that the first 2 seasons were all about them trying to become a married couple and a family, and now they can't do that because now they've never dealt like some with this before. And I have to agree, that's one of the things that I love about this season, that they're dealing with a conflict they really have not dealt with before. Because, I mean, they've been in things before. It's dealt with, they've had to deal with a lot of conflicts and things like that that's involved them and their family, but nothing really like this. They've never had to really recruit Paige. They haven't had to worry about that. But now that they're stuck with this decision, they have to recruit Paige. They just have no choice but to do this. So it's very hard for them, and I think it's a very well done scene. Now, Ted Pascal, I don't know if they're going to end up recruiting him, but definitely it's not going to end up going well with Ted Pascal. I don't know what's going to happen with him. They were this close to getting caught, remember? So I don't know what's going to happen there. We'll see what happens. Stan and Gadd, I don't know if they're going to find out that Elizabeth is the one that ended up hurting Gadd, but we'll have to see what happens there. But definitely Elizabeth, they're very smart with doing that, with getting her teeth out, because now they won't even suspect that it's Elizabeth because her teeth are gone. The teeth that were missing are gone now, so they won't suspect that it's Elizabeth. It's a pretty brilliant plan, really, what they're doing. So, all in all, it's a win-win situation for both of them. It is. As far as Martha goes, definitely her and Clark, you need to come up with some sort of decision on what they really want to do here. I definitely feel like they should get teenagers because it wouldn't be as hard to care for them. And I feel like that'd be the best bet, really. And then Henry, I have no idea what's going on there. I don't know what's going on with Henry. Why does he have those random pictures? I have no idea. I guess we'll have to see what's happening there. And finally, Arcadia and Oleg. I don't know if Oleg's going to decide to transfer out of the U.S., but there could be something that could end up happening there that would be a good thing. But of course, Oleg didn't get that note from Nina because Nina told her father to give that note to Oleg, and that's going to convince him to stay and also convince Arcady to basically find Nina, because that's really what this is all about here. Oleg, I don't think, cares about leaving. I don't think he cares about his well-being. He cares about freeing Nina because, again, I want him and Nina together. I do. He is the perfect guy for Nina. He's perfect for her, and I want those two together. I do. I think they are perfect together, and they need to get together. But overall, guys, that's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say about this episode. I like Elizabeth and Hans. I do like the guy that's working with Elizabeth. I think Hans is a good guy for her. I think they're going to end up becoming very close, definitely. They can't get too close, though, but they can get closer than they can with Ted. Um, but yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say about this episode. Other than that, guys, I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for... I'm trying to think. Will it be for Vampire Diaries or Rain? It'll actually probably be for Rain first because it aired. It airs in another. It airs in Canada. Um, a few days ago, so it gets leaked onto Solar. Of course, I live in America, but it gets leaked in Canada. It got leaked in Canada last night. It premiered last night, so it leaks onto Solar Movie. So I might review Rain first because of something that's happening tomorrow night that I definitely want to review for you guys. So I will see you guys for that. I don't know which one I'll review first. We'll see if Vampire Diaries or Rain, but that'll definitely be my next review, and we'll see you guys for that. Let me know what you guys saw this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.